Hello, comrades, and welcome to Season 10, Episode 3 of Loco Royale. I'm your host, Ellis, otherwise known as the Admiral. I have no technical advisor today, but I do have plenty of technical questions for these weird locomotives. And I say that because I am of the opinion that I determined about 10 minutes ago when we were setting up that there's no such thing as a normal 080. And these are beyond normal, or perhaps below normal. These are all non-North American 080s, which will be competing in our game of statistics and style, brought about by 5 wonderful contestants who, if you have watched before, you probably know and love. And if you haven't watched before, I invite you to go back to the beginning of this season and start there, or perhaps the beginning of the previous season where I do a much more in-depth explainer on how this game works, because it was a return from hiatus. And if you want to get involved, you can visit us on Discord via our website, theironhorseman.com. You can also find our Locomotive versus trading cards, which you can use to play this game. So, with that out of the way...
Real quick, before you introduce me, I want to point something out.
Go ahead.
You say that there's no such thing as a normal 060. The USRA would like to disagree.
No. I said 080, first of all. And second of all, I disagree. Like, those are still weird. They're the most normal, but they're still, like, have you looked at one properly? It's just, like, big and chunky and has stubby wheels. Oh, mud diggers are weird. They're bizarre
It's
as an entire class.
Switcher,
I'm sorry
PNG.
if that's racist, but
Oh. Sorry.
no, it's that they're all weird. The USRA is the most normal ones, but that's because that's what I'm used to. They're all weird. But we'll start with this one, which definitely is no exception. I mean, look at that bell. Brian, this is you at the top, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Hello, it's Zai the Starlight Alchemist, back for the third time in a row. And for the second time this season, I find myself taking an engine from the Axis power, so thankfully this one was built after the war. This is Maliban BR99 331. BR99 isn't really that important, that's just what the Germans call all their narrow gauge stuff. So, yeah. It's the class is K44.8 or 9933, but it's weird.
I don't get
But
their numbering.
I like it. It's a little dude. It's sort of reminiscent of the bigger tender engines that were like half cousins to the KP4s in the Soviet Union. They're the engines that the Chinese C2s, those ubiquitous tender engine 080s, were based off. And I would have taken one of those, and I bet many of the other people here would have taken one of those. But there is no complete stat sheet for a C2 or KP4 anywhere.
Well, maybe we could fix that. Brian, you returning for the third time in a row points out how easy it is to get into these days. We had 6 contestants trying. So that means if you were in the audience and going, well, that seems like a lot of effort to get involved, give it a shot. You've got good odds. Yeah, this thing is strange. You said it was from the Maliban?
Yes, it's a very one of the more well-known narrow gauge lines in Germany.
Well, I can believe it. The Germans had some crazy parties after the war. Anyway, so let's move on to the second contestant. This is Marine, right? This is not B&O,
Yes.
so I feel like you're lost.
No. Well, they didn't have any 080s that weren't like from the bygone age of 1800s. If I could have brought it, I would.
Yeah, I was going to
But I
say, I don't
couldn't.
think that would have stopped you.
But anyway, this is a Dutch locomotive with the flavorings of the Swedish, the greatest combination.
Shout out to Flying Scott.
And I'm not going to disclose much more about this because there's not much information I can disclose without giving away too much information.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's a secret because even you don't know. The first thing that jumps out at me is it's got one of those weirdo tenders. And the second thing that jumps out to me is this thing is bristling with ladders. They really like their ladders. I can see 3.
the boiler is actually made from a bunch of old tank cars.
Yeah, right. It's okay. It holds
Yeah.
pressure.
Yeah, the Swedish just like pulled out a bunch of tank cars that they had in storage that were like,
Sliced them up, welded them into a boiler, poof.
and then sent it to the Dutch.
Well, that's what the Dutch get anyway. In the third position, Mew, you and I were sharing a brain cell. This is basically what I picked. Is this exactly what I picked? 264, 243. I think that's the one I was trying to avoid.
Yep, it's the exact same
Okay.
one. So a handshake emoji there.
Yeah.
Um, the one out in Romania, I think. Yeah, and I'll be playing this one using the trading card.
Excellent.
Speaking of which, buy trading cards,
Buy
folks.
trading cards. Yeah, no, I also picked this. This is, I mean, everyone knows the Loco base idea of this thing now. The point is, it's extremely high. It's a strange locomotive, just like the rest of them. It has outside Stevenson for one. If you can't recognize it, that's what it is. And I don't mean to be crippling Mew here, but I've looked at this locomotive and the associated card for quite some time, wondering how it would perform. That's why I picked it, because I wanted to know the answer, and I also just didn't feel like figuring out another pick, and it was right there in front of me. So this is an interesting. It's something.
Yeah. I will say there's more than one stat that I think I would easily call veto on.
Yeah, it's small. It's very small. This is the first one where we've got a person for scale, except there is a photographer in the first picture and another dude over to the side, but that's not helpful. We've got people for scale, including the person standing on the water tank. So it's a small lad. I'd love to visit it someday. In the fourth position, Kaiserin.
Okay, I'm here. I'm bringing something French as usual. I brought the PLM 3201 class, number 3202. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I feel like it is. I don't need to be a broken record and say how strange this locomotive is, but I will establish for everybody. This thing does have a tender. It's just somewhere else right now. This is not a tank engine.
To explain the reason why, PLM had a bunch of different tenders for these locomotives, so there would be like a batch of locomotives, and there'd be like 3 different tenders.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no set. There is no set like overall wheelbase or tender stats. The stat sheet I have has the tender stats, but I don't know which tender they're for.
Well, at least you have some numbers. The P in PLM stands for Pennsylvania. Musical tenders. Finally, Fort, you have brought a Lithuanian locomotive. I understand that you collected a lot of the stats for this?
I collected literally all of the stats for this, because this one doesn't even have a thing on Loco base.
Oh no.
Oh! Well, that benefits Mew specifically.
But yeah, so I had to make a stat sheet for this like completely from scratch. And the funny thing is, I found, like, while I was looking for the stats for this, I found basically all of them by accident when I was looking for the last few stats for the for that Lithuanian Pacific that I brought to a previous Royale. Though I got a book for that one, and in the book it had like a builder's, like, not builder's schematic, but like a builder's like report for this locomotive as well.
I'm gonna be honest here. Looking at the samplings, looking at the helpings here, yours is the least weird. It's the most normal looking locomotive. I mean, the Lithuanians certainly have a way with making normal locomotives, except there is one thing that is getting me right now, right off the cuff. You have 3 domes, okay?
Yeah.
Usually when you see 3 domes, you have a steam dome in the middle and 2 sand domes. Here,
but in this case, the sand dome is in the middle. Yeah, I don't know what the second dome
The
is for
sand-
either.
yeah, the sand dome's in the middle. Your steam dome is the one behind it, because that's where the throttle linkage goes. What is the third one for?
I have no idea. I've not been able to find that out yet.
Well, there's
Is
a
that
pipe
for water
out
injection?
I
backwards.
don't know, because like I found if I can bring up if I can post my picture at the builder schematic or like the actually no, I shouldn't post it because that has
You probably
wheelbase
shouldn't do that.
measurements.
No, that
But, like,
wouldn't benefit you.
No, but when you look at the picture, because it shows what's underneath the dome. The first dome that's furthest forward, it has the exact same like steam dome shape looking thing underneath it as the third dome does. So I have no idea what it's actually for.
Interesting. I'm going to abandon this line of questioning at current time and just sort of have it wake me up at 2 in the morning in a cold sweat, wondering what the first dome is for.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Let me minimize
Mr. President,
everything
the
and
second dome.
get this started. Brian, you're kicking us off. You got first. You got top billing. What is your first stat call?
I'm just noticing a couple of very good stats that my engine has that I didn't realize it had before. But I'll have to save those for later. Anyways, let's start off with an obvious one. Tender loaded weight.
Tender loaded weight. Okay. Going once. Going twice. Okay. Tender loaded weight. That is an interest. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's fair. You've got 2 tank engines. What is your tender loaded weight, Brian? Being one of the tank engines.
Yeah, what's a tender?
Yeah, 0 goose egg.
Oh,
Marine,
right,
what's
those things on the front and back of a Garrett.
what are your things?
Well, there's 0 in there. 102,734.
It's okay. That's a normal weight for a tender. I think. I don't know. Mew.
Handshake emoji with Brian. What's
sure?
a tender?
Kaiser, and you do in fact have a tender.
Yes, I do in fact have a tender. 58,004.
All right, now we know which one she picked.
4. That
okay.
4 is very important.
It is. It's a load-bearing 4. Fort.
Yeah. So 99,208 and
Wow.
0.2.
That's very close to the the class 4700s. But either way, there are 2 5s on the field to the tank engines. That's not surprising. 3 points go to Kaiserin because of the invisible tender. 2 points to Fort and 1 point to Marine. Marine, you get up next. What is your stat call?
Huh. Yeah. This is I'm already seeing problems. Huh.
Well, we've established exactly one thing so far, and I'm wondering what this tank car is going to be able to do.
Let's do tractive effort.
Attractive effort. For 080s, yeah, this is definitely a stat of all time. Going once? Going twice? Nobody vetoes tractive effort. Brian?
Fun fact. I know a certain few American engines of a specific well-known class that this is more powerful than.
I thought for a second there you were going to say this does not have any tractive effort.
Yeah.
No, but this is more powerful than 315. 18,324.
German science is the greatest in the world.
I don't think so.
18,324. Okay. Marine?
Well, it's a lot larger than that. 45,589.
That's pretty chunky. All right. Mew?
Makes sense. You're a standard gauge engine.
Yeah.
Darn
who'd
you,
guessed?
Brian, with your modern built 080. 13,212.
It's even more than I remembered. Oh, right. I was looking at... Because this has like 2,000 more pounds than Porterfield and Ellis number 4. And I was alternating between those two as my low end when I was building rosters. Kaiserin?
25,997.
25,997. Right in the middle of the road.
Well,
excuse me, Fort?
I wasn't expecting this, but 46,186.8.
Wow, I was expecting you to be right in between Kaiserin and Marine there at like 35K, but no, this is the largest,
No,
chunkiest sled. You've got the biggest tank car around.
Yeah, I mean I thought I was going to be at least second place behind like
no.
Marine,
Oh
but
no,
like
Fort, you've done it again. It's
What?
the Belgian again.
All right,
Big Belgian.
no, not
No,
that
was
Belgian.
me with the big Belgian.
Oh,
5 points.
good.
5 points to Fort here. 4 points to Marine, 3 points to Kaiserin, 2 points to Brian, and 1 point to me. Kaiserin gets exclusive rights to the Big Belgian, and I don't want to hear about it right now.
I just realized I've never actually looked at a map to see where Lithuania is. I'm gonna do that.
Brian needs to play more Hearts of Iron 4.
Or look at a map.
No, Tango
more.
Dinero.
No. That's how kids these days know their countries, thanks to Paradox games. All right, Mew, what is your first stat call?
Paradox games or Wacko singing if it isn't a meme version.
Or GeoGuessr.
But yeah, I will call minimum weight of rail.
Minimum weight of rail. It's probably a good call. Going
Oh, it's
once,
between Poland and Latvia.
going twice.
wait, sorry, I was just okay, never mind.
Okay, I don't think I was gonna let that. I don't think I was gonna let your blum and bluster dry the timer out that much. Anyway,
Sorry, I was getting a map of Lithuania for Brian before he found
this
it.
isn't necessary. Lithuania will still be there when we're done with the show.
You never know.
The Soviet
We have
Union is gone. You
Lithuania
don't
at
have to
home.
worry about it anymore.
No, Poland just decides we've had enough of being invaded. We're going to invade Lithuania now.
Believe me, they've done that.
Oh right,
Yeah, they've
they
done
did. I forgot about
history. Mew, what is
Anyway.
sorry, Brian, what is your minimum weight of rail?
that. A nice round even 30.
30. Okay. All right, Marine.
I wanted to veto this, but I had a funny number. 69.
Nice.
Nice.
Worth it. Mew.
20.
20. It's more than I expected, but that's what happens when all your weight is on your drivers and you're kind of chunky. Anyway, Kaiserin.
52.
52. It's more than I expected out of that thing. And finally, Fort.
Yeah, well, I mean, I gotta say thanks, Marine. 64.
64 sneaks in with 2 points. 5 point goes to the 2-foot engine. 4 points to the other narrow gauge here in Germany. That's Brian. 3 points to the French. 2 points to the Lithuanians, and 1 point to the Dutch. And there's 2 things that I hate in this world. Anyway, Kaiser. Kaiser.
So I guess gotta say who's gonna be the one that calls ratio of driving wheelbase to overall engine wheelbase?
Yeah, just,
Hey.
just one's all around. Hey, listen, Ford,
Reduced weight
don't get
computation.
Oh wait, sorry. Bummer, there are no Polish engines here. I was gonna say don't get too cocky. More performances like that, and you might end up, and Lithuania might not be there when we wrap up. Kaiser, and what is your first stat call?
Oh, I have no clue, to be honest with you. I've got a lot of good stats, but I'm afraid to call them because, people know me by now, and they know what I bring. So...
Oh, you're not... No, I'm not buying... Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, is this one of those ones?
Brian, I think Ellis is seeing
What's
something
going on with this locomotive that I haven't noticed yet?
Okay, we're going to go with Loco Base ID.
All right.
Something safe.
Going once?
Alright, random.
Going twice? Alright, Loco Base ID. I know some people who are going to eat it on this one. Loco Base idea from Brian.
At least I know for a fact I'm not getting a 1. 13804.
13804. Alright, Marine.
4,839.
That's pretty good for the field.
Damn.
Mew, I know what yours is.
I'm in danger. 20,603.
It's a very new addition to the Loco Base. Not because of us, but I'm grateful that it was added because we took advantage of it. Kaiser,
3909.
3909. Wow. I didn't expect this
Wow.
thing to sneak in with 5 points.
Wow.
Fort.
By the way, just before we move on, the locomotive right next to this one on the sheet is 603.
Wow.
What?
Who knows why?
Okay.
And Fort.
Yeah, and I'm not a player.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and leave it blank. Otherwise, the sheet will
You
explode.
made another custom sheet.
So 5 points. 5 points to Kaiserin, 4 points to Marine, 3 points to Brian here. I'm sorry, I am a little bit sick. That's why I keep coughing and sputtering. 2 points to Mew and 1 point to Fort. Fort, you're up for the final stat call of the first round. Your first stat call, what'll it be?
I think I'm gonna go with Valve Gear.
Valve Gear. Oh man, going once.
Veto.
All right, there's a veto. There's Valve Gear off the board from you, which is probably a wise choice.
Question
Somehow I
regarding
was
that,
the
though, just for
only-
future reference.
Somehow I was the only non-Wally.
Technically, because there is a certain variant of Walsher's Valve Gear known as Husinger.
It's practically the same thing. It's
I think
two developmental tracks that ended up at the same end.
It's Valve Gear Carcanization.
Yeah, there's no difference in between wall shirts and Husinger.
Yeah, and I think they're scored identically.
They are.
Fort, what is your second option?
Okay, so since that was taken, let's go with actually no, let's try Power L1.
Power L1. Going once? Going twice? Alright, Power L1, let me drop that in and say goodbye to Lafayette because he's going. He's going to his to Glorious Mom's house for the weekend. Come here, pup. He's hiding. Oh, is he under my desk? He's under my desk. Hi. Hi, pup. You're a good boy.
I'm here.
Is Gloria's mom
Hello?
also holding a jacket hostage in exchange for the dog?
No, not this time. All right,
I'm
what
sorry,
is your Power L1, Brian?
Not great. I'm not going to say not terrible because it probably is terrible in context. 8859.
8859. I think you will find that is
All right, come on,
acceptable.
It's better than
It is
mine, Brian.
acceptable.
All right, Marine.
8,583.
Oh,
What?
all right,
Okay.
all right.
What?
Let's see the rest of the field. Mew.
I'm an ATSF Loco, 3751.
Oh, okay.
3751, but also ow.
Kaiserin.
I'm not that much better than Mew. 4122.
Oh, I was hoping.
Still better.
That's surprising
What?
considering. And Fort.
9962.
Nobody breaks 10,000. Incredible.
How did I get a
What?
4?
5
What
points.
does Power
to Fort.
L1 stand for again?
I don't know what it stands for, but there's a big page on the website where you can read all about how it's calculated. Visit our partners, steamlocomotive.com, and check it out.
Power.
I
it
wonder
says-
if it was
It
originally
says Power
if it-
L1 is the third mod that is used to calculate superpower rating. Because the first one is same as above, but superheater. The second one is same as above, but substitute firebox for great. And then the third one is Power L1.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this much. It is a big, long formula that's a pain in the neck because I had to translate it into Excel for the downloadable stat sheet calculator available on our website, theironhorseman.com/documents center. I
I
think that's
wonder
the
if the
URL.
reason it's called Power L1 is because it was originally derived from like a calculation that was used to determine like power for a locomotive that was classed as L1. Like maybe a Penzi L1, but I doubt it.
I have no idea, but I'll tell you this. Mew took the L and got a 1. Fort got 5.
Yep.
You got 4. Marine got 3, and Kaiserin got 2. So, like I said, nobody breaks 10,000, and let's see where the scores are at the end of this round. everything is okay within 5 points. Uh,
Whoa.
18 points and the lead goes to Brian. 16 points and second place goes to Kaiserin. 15 points in third place goes to Fort. And honestly, those three being right where they are is not altogether that surprising. This whole lineup is not that surprising after the first round we've had, except Mew is in fourth place. That makes sense, but Marine has been at the butt end of a lot of calls and only managed to score 13 points this time around. It's not a great showing, but it's only the end of the first round. This is a big angry locomotive, and I think it can perform. Meanwhile, Fort probably has room to go up, and Brian, I don't know where his weaknesses are, but I'm sure they will show up sooner or later. I can see a couple just by looking at it. This is a weird field of weird contestants, of weird locomotives. Well, the contestant... Well, okay, never mind. Let's not follow that train of thought any further. The field is mostly balanced. Everyone's separated by, 1 point or 2 points. Brian's out in the lead by 2 points. And he gets to start off round 2, of course. Brian, what is your second stat call?
Alright. I just had dinner delivered to me. My dad made breadsticks. Wow.
I should have dinner that aren't these Milano mint chocolate cookies.
All
I'll do it
right.
later.
This is funny, and I have a feeling that I'm not going to get a 5 here, but I just want to call it because my stat is ridiculous. Tubes.
Tubes, going once, going
Veto.
twice. That's a veto from Marine. I wonder.
didn't hear Marine
What
say it.
I assume is that
No, I heard him.
Brian said he had to call it, and his number was ridiculous, so that means he had 69-inch tubes or whatever.
No.
Brian, what else?
It's not the diameter that's funny. The funny part
It's
is
how you use it.
I have 9.
Well, that's
Amazing.
interesting.
Nobody
Gloria
called
is sobbing
you.
because our son is gone. Did we get soggy mail?
No, this is just off of me. That's from Grandma for
Oh,
her
okay.
birthday.
Oh, I got a birthday card. Yay! I got this from the Grange. I got some other stuff. Let's go through my mail on the show. Brian, what's your second stat call?
Superheating surface?
Superheating surface. Going once. Going twice. I'm surprised that Tubes was ejected and this one stayed, because if everybody here is superheated, I'm going to be a little surprised.
Damn it.
Brian.
Damn it. My plan backfired. I was trying to draw Fido so I could...
Well, you've got
Oh,
2 more
voiced
rounds
by your
to
own
enact
petard.
whatever plans you want to enact.
Well-
What's your superheating surface?
194.
That's not terrible for a little engine like this. But, these aren't all little engines. Marine, what's yours?
522.
That's okay, yeah, there you go. That's actually substantial. Mew.
Goose egg.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. I knew there was at least one soaker among us. Kaiserin?
I don't have a superheater, Ellis.
And there's another one.
Oh,
Gee,
What about
really? I'm
Fort?
not surprised.
Fort, do you have one?
Kaiser, and we got another point. Yay.
And once again, thank you, Marine. 543.58.
Oh, and
All
Fort
All
Fort
right.
steals a 5 off of that. Marine still gets a 4. That's fine. And Brian gets a 3. But the thing that's funny here is that the 2 soakers mean they both get 2 points. Means that those 5s and 4s and 3s don't matter quite as much as they would have otherwise. Marine, what is your second stat call?
There's something I really want to call, but after the result of what happened here, I'm going to do combined heating surface.
Combined heating surface. Going once. Going twice. Alright, combined heating surface. This is what I'm curious about, especially with the 2 soakers. But Brian?
If you do the math, you'll find something somewhat interesting. 648.
Well, it's almost Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'm not going to do the math, but I might learn it later against my will. Marine.
2,116.
Okay, a normal locomotive. Mew.
518.
518. I lied, by the way. There are no normal locomotives here. You have less combined heating surface than Marine has superheating surface. And
Yep.
also Fort has superheating surface, and that's hilarious. Kaiserin.
Definitely not the year my locomotive was built. 1869.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, so I was this close to greatness, unfortunately. 2108.54.
What is greatness in this case? Being better than Marine?
I got 5!
You two,
Yeah,
I mean, if you two keep trading 5s and 4s, it's just average collusion. 5 points to Marine, 4 points to Fort, 3 points to Kaiserin, 2 points to excuse me, 2 points to Brian, and 1 point to Mew here. Mew, it's your ball. What are you gonna do with it?
Total locomotive weight.
Total locomotive weight, probably a smart call. Going once, going twice. Total locomotive weight, overall engine and tender weight together. There's one person I'm curious about in particular. But
Wait, okay,
I already know the answer to my question. Brian, what?
No, no. I mean, I have to do some math here because for some reason the stat page is broken and it's not automatically calculating here.
Well, you're. Oh, well, that's strange.
Are you not just a tank
Are
engine?
you using my stat calc?
No.
No. There are
Yes,
only
I
two
am.
tank and wait, what? There are only two tank. That's weird. I mean, I assume you broke it.
Nah.
It's probably user error. I'm just gonna side with that. But no, I already have the answer to my question because of discussions before the show. Brian, what's your total locomotive weight?
71,430.
71,403. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were
430.
Brian. My bad.
430. 71,430. Marine.
Large. 267,638.
Well, between you and Fort, we can figure out which one of you is getting a 1. Mew?
Yeah.
I apologize, Brian, because I apologize for it and Brian because I keep forgetting whose voice goes with whose name. But either way, 48,502.
48,502, small. Kaiser.
183,888.
Well, at least you figured it out. Fort is last.
Yeah, 251,326.98.
251,300. Oh my god. Okay, well, that's still going to be a 2. It's not the worst it could be. 5 points to Mew, 4 points to Brian, and then we go down the list of people that are not tank engines. 3 points to Kaiser, and 2 points to Ford, and 1 point to Marine. Marine has the largest locomotive, which I think is a trend. It feels like it ought to be. Kaiserin, what's your stat call?
I don't know. Because, well, see, here's the thing. I have the stats that I could call and win, but everyone knows those stats.
I can tell just by looking at you.
Gloria just threw a Ricola at me.
Ricola.
Let's go with that one. Well, it's probably not as high as Marines, and it's probably not as high as Forts, but I bet I win. I bet I get another 3. Firebox area.
Firebox area. Going once? Going twice? I have no idea about this. Firebox area. Brian.
65.01.
I only know who I'm pretty sure is going to get a 1. Marine.
132.35.
Oh, and I think I know who's going to get a 2, too. Mew?
Double me.
A coughing baby size of 50.59.
50.59. All right, Kaiserin.
I mean, if you think about it, that's not too far from Brian. 117.97.
Okay.
Yeah, I got 149.51.
149.51. That's a 5 for you.
I told you I'd get a 3.
4
You've
points
been getting
to
a lot of those this game.
Marine, 3 points to Kaiserin, 2 points to Brian, and 1 point to Mew. And I'm really trying to suck on this cough drop without sounding terrible on the mic. Earlier, before the show, I got busted stuff in my face. Fort, what's your stat call to end off round 2?
You know, I think I am. You know, I'm choosing this because I'm genuinely kind of curious. Boiler pressure.
Boiler pressure. That's a good thing to be curious about. Going once? Going twice? Boiler pressure. It is a tell of many things to know boiler pressure. Brian.
Time for some metricisms. 203.1.
203.1. Marine.
Oh no, 188.5.
These are all going to be weird.
Okay.
They're all going to be weird. We just need to accept that. Mew.
Also 203.1.
That doesn't mean they won't be the
High
same.
5.
Kaiserin.
Handshake emoji.
213.20.
Oh my god! I was going to say this thing's going to be like this.
Oh.
If anything was going to surprise me with pressure, it was going to be this locomotive. Fort.
Yeah, I'm 205.74.
Right, why is yours weirdly in the
Damn
middle?
it.
Okay, so here's my thing. Nobody call year because it will give Ellis a heart attack. Looking at that boiler pressure and looking at what year this locomotive was built.
1836.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised. No, this thing is not built in the 1830s. If they had the metallurgy to build this in the 1830s, we'd have effing flying cars right now. 5 points go to Kaiserin and this large pipe bomb. 4 points goes to Fort. 3 points to the narrow gauge tank engines together.
Tank engine burns.
And 1 point to Marine in his big thing. Which
Tanks together strong.
once again, Marine does not look like he's had the greatest round. I was really hoping it would come back around for him. And ultimately,
It's slightly better.
well, you're not in last. 35 points, and the lead goes to Fort.
Woo!
Actually had a great round, 20 points off of that round. Got you up to 35 points. And then second place is a tie between the large pipe bomb and the Molly, and the German party machine. So, yeah, this interesting. I didn't think these two would be on the level at all. But here we are. It's Loco Royale is a dynamic game. 28 points to the big thing. This is like a mud excavator, more than a mud digger. And 26 points to the little thing, which is hanging on. Worst round so far in the game, 12 points from you, but still not below the cutoff. With some clever play and some help, this thing is going to do just fine. It is definitely the smallest locomotive here, and it all depends how scared people are of the large competitors, how well this thing does. Now, if it survives to style points, I have no idea what's going to happen, because these locomotives are so bizarre that style points is going to be a complete catastrophe. I have been bracing for it since before we started this show. At any rate, Brian, please begin round 3. What is your stat call?
Kaiserin, I am sorry you are
No,
my
you're not.
friend, but I have to do this. You're built.
Well, I can't.
Why are you
I can't
apologizing to her? She
veto
said it would give me a heart attack. Do you want to play the
Look,
game or not? Going
I
once?
can't veto it because I'm saving my veto for something else. Ellis knows what it is.
Going
but
twice? Also, well, I think you said what... Never mind. No vetoes? Okay. Moving on. Year built. When was this thing built, Brian? You said it was after the war.
Yes. And this is going to blow your mind. 1961.
You know, you said after the war.
Really?
You didn't say which war. But
This, if I remember correctly, this is either shares a build date, or is 1 year younger, or is 1 year older than 18201. I can't remember when 18201 was built, but I know it was in the same time frame as this.
okay. Marine,
I was avoiding this for its exact purpose. 1945.
1945. That's not bad. That's not that's good. The only
that's
person
a
you
good
should be afraid
date.
of is Brian. Because
Well,
I mean, look at.
I want to see. I'm also curious about Fort.
I'm curious about Fort too, but you definitely shouldn't be afraid of the thing with outside Stevenson. Mew, when was this thing built?
I'm in danger. 1911.
For the record, so everyone knows, and it says so on the trading card, they built stuff to this design for like 50 plus years. It's kind of crazy, and this was one of the early ones. It was the plant was there was a plant churning these out, and then it was closed, and then some years went by, and then they brought the design back, and they started building new ones. It's a hell of a story. I uncovered a lot learning about these little Hungarian, Romanian things, and I kind of want to visit this one. I think I already said that. Kaiserin.
Prepare for your heart attack, Ellis, and no, Mew, you are not in danger. You're getting a 2. 1887.
That's not that bad.
It's
But
not that
200
bad until you
PSI?
consider it's the highest boiler pressure here. It's higher than my blood pressure right now.
I was expecting, for a heart attack level, I was expecting, 1854.
No, because they couldn't build this thing in 1854. In 1887, they could build it. It was just inadvisable. They spent too long thinking if they could and never if they should. This was the D&H high pressure locomotive of 1887. Anyway,
You know what it is? They're using what is essentially what we would call, actually, I'm forgetting. Is it Baldwin that always built their boilers way too thick?
I have no idea, but what I think they were
you're-
using was Molly, probably. Actually, they got it from you, and they used it to build this locomotive. Fort.
Yeah, I'm smack dab in the middle here, 1932.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That
Okay.
makes sense.
All
Five.
I know is
I'm the
Ellis
one-
wishing
one
that.
in the survey. I'm the one in the survey that brings the average age of the population down.
Yes, true, and also, you had to take a set of locomotives that was already going to be weird and make it weird and dangerous.
Ellis probably wishes, Kaiser, that your loco exploded on the first fire up just so he'll be put out of its misery.
No. I wish it still
Was that the
survives
boom
and
of
I could go
87?
drive it. Anyway,
An entire
yeah,
boiler
you know,
explosion.
Ellis-
you guys can
Yeah,
fill
tie
it.
down the
Question.
safety valve.
Step 3. Question.
But Ellis-
Question. Step 4. Profit.
But Ellis, the boom of 87.
Perfect.
Literally.
We have a name for this
Literally.
locomotive. All right. All right. The Molly engine gets 5 points. The big engine gets 4 points. The Lithuanian engine gets 3 points. I don't have a name for this. It just looks very crisp. The cute engine gets 2 points, and the bomb gets 1 point.
Three domes
It's very fitting that this thing has torpedo tubes. Also, you know what? I'll ask that question later. Marine, what is your stat call?
Evaporative heating surface.
Evaporative heating surface. That makes sense considering. Going once? Going twice?
Veto.
Okay, a veto from Brian. Why you gotta do him like that? I mean, look at the scores. Marine, what else have you got?
Evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume.
That's a much bolder call. Going once, going twice. And we enter that space where I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. Heating surface divided by cylinder volume is something that is very difficult to determine by looking at a locomotive. I just hope you're above par, otherwise this is not a very good call.
Well,
We'll
when
see.
we find out.
Brian.
Listen, I I know that I'm bad in this stat, but in the other stat, I knew I was going to get a 1 because if you check with the superheating surface and the combined heating surface, without my super here, I have less than my soaker companion. Anyway, 149.38. It's bad.
Phrasing. Also, yes. Marine.
Huh. Well, 117.87.
That's one of the worst
Oof.
I have ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you call this?
I don't know. I didn't have any. I didn't
Brain
have any
stopped braining.
any like comparisons like available at the moment to actually look at it and be like, is
Okay,
this a
all
good
right,
idea?
All right, fair. I'll give you this, and I'll give the entire audience this as well. And one day I'll create a spreadsheet or something that gives quote unquote par scores for a lot of these. The score at which, if something is better than, I'll typically write it at the bottom of the trading card as a suggestion to call. Par for evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume is 200.
Because that's
Good to know.
generally what we consider free steam.
However, these are 080s. They do not need to be free steaming. They don't even need to get close. You need to chop this thing across the yard, and if it's out of steam by then, that's fine. So I understand why these numbers would be low. That does not make them good. This is not a yard engine. Muse locomotive is a wander through the forest kind of engine, which big mood. What is yours?
Yep, and it's statted specifically for that. 252.4.
That's really good.
Nice.
Kaiserin.
Okay, so
Oh,
you were
no.
talking about going across the yard.
Oh no.
This is not a yard locomotive. This is a mainline freight locomotive.
Yeah, because the PLM was insane.
400.15.
400?
common?
Oh, of course
Oh,
it's
God.
400. Oh, I knew it. I knew it by looking at the counterweights. I knew it. This thing is sus. Okay. All right.
Brian, is that what you were thinking when you looked at my picture?
No, however, it was something else that I could tell by that part of the engine.
The thing that you're not seeing is that the tender actually has a second boiler. Marine.
Mr. President, second
No,
boiler.
Fort.
No, it's me.
Oh, Fort.
Just
Sorry.
the big Belgian
Yeah,
It's Marine
I-
stat
I-
card. So it's Marine stat
I-
card. Fort's at the bottom. Fort, what do you want? What's your number?
I mean, once again, I have to say thank you, Marine, for taking the one for me. 118.
Why? Why? And I was about to compliment this engine.
Why?
That's so bad. These locomotives are so
honestly-
bad.
And this is
I'm
supposed to be a
flabbergasted
mainline freight
that-
engine.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
This is supposed to be a mainline freight engine. They
No,
were the
whoever
most
told you that was lying to you. I will accept
mean,
no
it's-
other conclusions.
I mean, considering they were.
If you think about it, you know what else was supposed to be mainline freight engines, but also had terrible heating surface over cylinder volumes? Almost every non-compound Mikado to ever exist.
No, that's not true. The Mikados have like not good ones, but they don't have great ones. This is really bad. This is. I was going to compliment this, and now all I can say about it is it looks like the numbers on the side of the boiler were photoshopped on. So I don't know who decided that this was going to be a mainline freight engine. They better have run this thing with a very careful hand on the Johnson bar, because otherwise all of your, and what was the PSI on this thing? Yeah, it wasn't bad. All of your steam pressure is going out the stack very quickly.
And probably
Well,
the fire
I can-
too.
I can also add to the this was a freight like a mainline freight locomotive.
What the fuck?
This is what?
I mean,
what?
at the same time, it's in
And
the
also-
Netherlands.
It also pulled
Yeah,
passenger
Lithu-
service.
Yeah, Lithuania's not a very big country, so it didn't have to go that far.
That's true.
The
I
Netherlands
guess
is
by the time
smaller,
by the time it's run out of steam, it has reached the Baltic Sea.
yes, in both
So the
cases.
next station.
Yeah. Although in a Danish, I would assume the C sort of comes to it. Anyway, what a call. 5 points to Kaiser. I feel like I should. Yeah, I need to rattle these off. 5 points to Kaiser and 4 points to Mew. That's a 5 out of 4 combination. I don't think we're going to see again. 3 points to Molly. 2 points to Fort, and 1 point to Marine here. Mew.
I could give this thing a
If
name.
you're wondering, that's one of the ones I was saving and hoping, because I knew if I called it, it was going to get vetoed.
Yeah, because people know you. You're right. It's one of these things where when I see a locomotive that you have brought, I think, how is this going to break everything?
It's very much. It's like Kaiserin comes up behind with the steel chair.
Yeah, well, it's more like it's more like when you log on to Minecraft and you go into your house and it's been a couple days and somebody put TNT under the pressure plate inside your door. Not that I've been that guy. Well, I have been that guy. I've been on the giving end of that. I think it's my 100 subscriber special. Mew, what's your stat call? Also, like and subscribe and all that. Whatever.
I'm gonna just go straight down the list. Wait on drivers.
Wait on drivers. Okay, going once, going twice. Yeah, nobody's vetoing the wait stats. That's not how you spell wait on drivers. Wait on drivers. Brian.
71,430. I wonder where we've seen that number before.
Yeah, okay, this is going to be very familiar for some of these engines. Marine.
I'll take my one. 164,904.
Yeah, this is going to be identical to minimum weight of rail. Mew.
48,502.
48,502. Kaiserin.
125,884.
And finally, Fort.
152,118.96.
Okay. And we'll go down the list. It goes 5 points to Mew, 4 points to Brian, 3 points to Kaiserin, 2 points to Fort, and 1 point to Marine. Again, same as the last two stat calls of Mew, actually. Because
yeah, I was about to point that out.
it'd be like that sometimes. Kaiserin, what do you have for us for round 3?
Well, I know the other one I'm good at will get vetoed immediately. So
some people in this game need to take a lesson from Steve Zissou. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I suppose I can't really recommend it because it's very not my favorite Wes Anderson movie. But there's a scene in Life Aquatic where Bill Murray's character is explaining to someone how you initiate a fight with somebody. And because somebody walks up to him and says, "I'm going to fight you." And he says, "That's not how you do it. You just walk up to him and you sucker punch him." You guys need to stop telegraphing your moves. This isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiserin, what's your stat call?
it's obvious what that stat is. I've got 400.
Well, I'm just saying. If it's obvious, it's obvious.
Okay, what I'm gonna go for is I'm gonna go for.
You gotta go for it. You're just about out of time.
Let's go with Great Area.
Great Area. Going once? Going twice?
No, Flew Tube Length.
Okay, Flew Tube Length. Going once. Going twice. Flew Tube Length. And that's why I do the countdown, even when no one has a veto. Flew Tube Length. Yeah, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Joke took a lot longer to get to than I expected, so I wasted a lot of the time there. Brian, what's your Flew Tube Length?
7.87.
Oops.
What?
Hold on, I can fix that. Click, click.
round it.
7.87. Marine.
You know how I joked about this just being a giant barrel? What's a flute tube?
What do you mean?
What?
Why do you not have a number?
Is that a water tube boiler?
No, it's just
No.
garbage.
I just don't have it.
Oh, fair.
What in the Sam hell? Okay.
Is this a water tube?
Yeah, that's why I vetoed tubes. 'Cause I don't have it.
Yeah, that'll do it. That makes sense. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry, Marine. This isn't the round for you. Mew.
Kicking my kneecaps in.
I was gonna say thank you, Brian, for letting me take the 2, but now also thank you, Marine, for letting me take the 3.
Oh, I had a choice in
8.86.
I will fix that. Kaiserin.
13.42.
Okay, we're approaching normal lengths. Fort.
14.76.
And we didn't quite make it. I'll fix that. That's still a 5, though. 5 points for Fort, that makes sense. 4 points for Kaiserin, that also makes sense. 3 points for Mew, that doesn't make sense at all. 2 points for Brian, and 1 point to this tank car with wheels under it. Well, tank cars have wheels under them. Tank car with a cab on it. I don't know what to tell you, Marine. I knew getting stats for this particular Royale would probably be difficult, which is why I went with the one I already agonized over getting stats for. That is to say, the one on the trading card. And I feel kind of bad. I think this thing's a big chunky engine, and I want it to succeed, and I have been making fun of it a lot. I feel like it deserves it, but you know, sometimes the least among us or something.
Yeah, and the kicker of all of this is that tubes and flute tube length are the only ones I'm missing.
Oh, and
And you were still able to get 35 stats? Dang.
Oh yeah, no, I got this thing. I have all the stats except those two.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. Minaret's the same way. I'm having flashbacks.
Oh, that's right.
Kaiserin, please let me drive your locomotive. Fort, what's your stat call?
You know what? Again, I'm choosing this because I'm genuinely curious. I'm gonna go with high pressure cylinders.
High pressure cylinders. I think I know who's going to win this. Going once.
Oh no.
Going twice. Yeah, well, it could be. It's going to be kind of close. High pressure cylinders. This is over on the side in the W column, as always. Brian, you need to hop over here and put in your high pressure cylinders. I assume everyone has 2, but I have been surprised before.
I have 5.
If some of these, if Marines has 4, that would explain a lot. If Forts has 4, that would also explain a lot, but I see he already wrote 2 in there. So I'm just waiting for the results here. And I'm going to speak these aloud because, boy, that's a lot of decimals. Everyone just punch your numbers in and we'll go from there. Oh! Well, all right then.
New Haven moment.
That's okay. That's not.
I do see the
Thank
search
you
going
for-
now.
Yep. I see it. It's got a little. Actually, maybe we should cover that. That's indecent.
Oh, okay.
Marine does get 5 points here with about 20 by 26 cylinders, rounding up, and he's got 3 of them.
Yeah.
Everyone else has 2 cylinders, but Marine has about 23,300 cubic inches of space for steam. That explains some things. It would be really nice if you had a lever where you could shut that one off. I don't know why anyone would engineer that, but that'd be kind of neat, so that when you're at cruising speed, so to speak, you can just, not waste all the steam.
It'd be like the reverse of on some of the French compounds where you can start in simple.
Yeah.
Instead of in compounding.
I believe the big N and W Malays had that as well.
They did.
They did.
Yeah, it's the amount of tractive effort you can get out of that, hilarious. But all the steam goes out the stack. 4 points to Fort's locomotive with a pair of 24 by 26s, give or take 22,700 cubic inches. 3 points to Kaiseren's locomotive with a pair of 14 by 25s. That is a substantial drop-off to about 8,000 cubic inches. So there are these two locomotives that have large cylinders, and then there's everybody else.
Well, you also have to take into account that my locomotive also has 2 other cylinders.
Yeah, no, I've gathered that. I'm just saying.
Wait.
2 points to 2 points to Brian here with a pair of 15 by 16s, and 1.2 Mew here with a pair of 13 by 14s. Those are
Mew, did you not realize my locomotive was 4-cylinder? Because I heard you say, "Wait a minute."
I thought that was Fort.
No.
Yeah, that was me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I only just noticed that the front driving wheel is spaced out further than the others.
I was sus by the
Sorry,
counterweights.
Mew.
I do
thought
want
that
to add
all
my
good.
2 cents, and if anyone were to look at my image just a little close, they would blatantly, obviously, be able to see the third
Yeah,
cylinder.
it's there.
Yeah,
And honestly,
I looked at it.
the evaporative heating surface divided by cylinder volume call should have told us a lot. Although the fact that Fort just has 2 gigantic, regular, like, high-pressure cylinders and nothing weird going on is ridiculous in and of itself. But
I threw everybody off.
yeah, exactly.
Through free steaming, we want tractive effort.
That's exactly what happened. But the 400 points, the 400 for Kaiserin, that's your clue, and then the really low number for Marine, that's also your clue. But let's look at the end of round 3 here. We're already an hour in. These episodes have been going longer and longer because I just like to yap. But here's where we are right now. Not everyone is in contention. 51 points. Fort's in the lead. First place. Hangs on to it with a 16-point round, which ties 2 other people. 4 points this round. Those 2 other people are, of course, Kaiserin and Brian, who hang in on their fight for second place. And then
what is going on?
41 points.
What is this?
41 points. Well, this is what happens when we go back to form. I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, okay, when we wrap this season up in about 100 years, based on how much time it's been taking, what gimmick are we going to do for next season? I have no idea. Maybe think about that. I've got to make a batch of trading cards between now and then, so who knows when that'll be. 41 points
idea.
is 4th place. Well, hang on to it. I'll make a poll at some point. 41 points is 4th place. That's Mew, and he's in the cutoff. Outside of the cutoff is Marine. I
do not want to be left behind.
I don't want you to be left behind either. You're in a tight spot here. I will do everything in my power to save you if it comes down to it. But that means this allegedly locomotive needs to make it to the end of this 4th round. Brian, start us off. Flues. Well, that's just mean. Going once.
I'm going to veto that.
All right, there's a veto from Fort.
Oh, got that. I was hoping that Kaiserin would veto it so you could use your veto on low pressure cylinder. Actually, wait, no, they'll give us all 4. It's fine. It's definitely fine.
It's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna
It's
let you
fine.
in on a secret. Tubes and flues are the only 2 stats I don't have for this engine.
Oh, thank you. I also don't have flues. I don't have any of that.
Marine and Fort are united in confusion. All right.
Then, hold on. 2 people without flues, and Kaiserin and I with known zeros on flues. It would have been a 5 and 4 fours.
No, it wouldn't have. It would have been a
No.
5, 4 fours, and 2 1s. Because not having the stat is not the same as a known
dang,
0.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But, Brian, what's your alternate final stat call?
Who could have seen this coming? Factor of adhesion.
I didn't see it coming.
Well,
These
this
are
is gonna
080s.
be ugly.
Going once? Going twice? I have no idea what's about to happen.
Thank you, Kaiserin, for letting me have
Factor
this.
of adhesion.
Oh, I'm saving mine for if anybody decides to call overall wheelbase.
I wouldn't have let that slide if I were you, but okay.
Well, she
I
mentioned
mean,
it at the top of the
oh,
show,
did I
and
veto
also
it?
I don't even know.
You know, it'd be funny if people called wheelbase ratio and DT's weight computation.
No, it would not. No, stop. No,
No.
you stop.
No.
Brian, what's your factor of adhesion?
Shockingly good. 3.9.
You might as well call booster. What is yours, Marine?
3.62.
Okay, that's closer to what I expected for one of these locomotives. You.
3.67.
That's
All right.
astoundingly close to Marines, and also better. Kaiserin,
Bad. 4.84.
4.84. Yeah, that's the worst so far. Let's
All
see,
right.
but Fort.
Well, I was worried that I'd get a 1, but thanks for the 2, Kaiser. 3.29.
3.29. Oh my god. And only one that's over, which is telling me very, very strange things about this locomotive, about Kaiserin's locomotive. What is going on in France?
What is this freak of nature?
There's nothing natural about the French. All right, 5 points go to Brian, 4 points goes to Mew, 3 points goes to Marine, 2 points goes to Fort, and 1 point to Kaiserin. Or should I say, and Kaiserin gets a 1. I haven't gotten to say that like all day. It's actually a good sign. It's happened a couple times, but I haven't said
I've been
it.
getting too many 3s.
Yeah, well, the 3s is a good place to be. Mew, what is your Marine, what is your 4th stat call?
Well, I mean, since Fort called high pressure cylinder, that was, I'm gonna have to think of a second one.
Okay, and while you do that, I'm going to make a joke that's been bopping around in my head this whole time. Kaiserin has a pipe bomb, and you have just a pipe with a pipe. So
Hadn't had the cordite put in it yet.
yeah,
It's still in the factory. It hadn't been made yet.
Zelensky is on his way to sign it as we speak. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah. So this is really, like, we talk about how this is a show for comparing locomotives and fighting and etc. But really, this is just a vessel for me to make really terrible jokes. Marine, what is your stat call?
Am I out of time?
Just about. I gave you all that time while I was yammering.
Crap. Screw it. Great area.
Great area. That's actually a good one.
Actually, no, I retract that.
What do you want?
Number
then?
built.
What do you say? Number built?
Number built.
Number built. Okay. Going once.
Hey Mew, how do you like your 5?
Going twice. It do
Hush.
be like that. Brian.
I have a feeling I might summon Bender. It's 2.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say 113.
No.
I would summon Matt.
Yeah, that's gonna summon Matt. I wouldn't mind summoning Matt just because this is chaotic enough. I wouldn't mind summoning Bender either. I don't really mind summoning anybody.
I'd like to summon East. Please come back.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Marine.
35.
35. That's a respectable amount. Mew.
152.
Yeah, 152. Yep.
Hold on.
I was looking at that earlier.
I'm guessing that's only counting a specific batch.
It's. I will not elaborate on that right now. Kaiserin, how many of these did they make?
It's a secret too.
Hello, Brian. How are you? 2.
2. I
And
thought
I'm
the
bringing
French,
back
I thought the
one.
legacy of the French is like always being at war. You figured they'd need more explosive devices.
Oh,
I mean, to put into perspective, the locomotive next to this one on this sheet, the one that's got the loco base ID in the 600s, was built in 1868 with Gooch valve gear, and there was 160 of them.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, also, I guess we just come back to this was the D&H high-pressure locomotive of a time. I could imagine why they wouldn't build more than 2 of them. After they killed a few people, you would imagine they would just move on to something else for a little while. Fort.
They rebuilt. I'll save it for stop points. Fort.
Yeah, so I have both Kaiserin and Brian put together. 4.
Wow, congratulations.
Oh,
Wow,
my
number
God.
7, way to go, champ. All right, 5 points to Mew, 4 points to Marine. It works out for Marine. 3 points to Fort, and 2 points apiece to Brian and Kaiserin. I'm surprised there were so few of these things, Brian.
I'm glad that worked out because honestly, I was gambling on how much you had for it because I knew Mew was going to be like in the clouds, which would help
we'll
him
find out
either
why there were
way.
so few of these later.
And then for I felt that since yours looked the most normal along with mine, at least in comparison to everyone else we have here, you might have a decent number of them.
Okay, so when we're done, there is some weird discrepancies. Well, I mean, at least compared to normal locomotives involving the number of locomotives that actually are in this class. But we'll go into that later.
Yeah, that the same thing happens with Mew's locomotive, but I'm not gonna expose that. If you have the trading card, you can look at it after the show, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Mew, what's your stat call?
Yeah, all I'll say, Marine, is thank you for not second guessing that one as well. I'm gonna just call engine weight.
Engine weight, going once, going twice. Engine weight, Mew keeps moving down the list and presents and going once, going twice. Mew presents once again the exact same arrangement that he has for the last 3 rounds. And I don't even need to ask for these numbers. Brian is 71,430. Marine is 164,904. Mew is 48,502. Kaiserin is 125,884. And Fort is 152,118. And the points are the same as above. If any of you wrote down a different number,
We've seen these numbers
things
before.
are concerning. Things like
Getting
there's
a
a
feeling of
problem.
deja vu.
Same as it ever was.
At
Same as ever
at
was.
least Mew has a strategy and it's working out for him. I gotta, you know what? It's just Mew.
I
Well,
can guarantee a 5 every time.
okay, I will say working out for him is maybe a little bit loose considering he was on the cusp of elimination at the end of the last round. But a 5 is a 5, and he's got another 5 and a 4 in his back pocket previously. And also, I just accidentally knocked all of my mail into the trash can.
F.
Nah, it wasn't important.
Damn it.
I will have to deal with that later. Kaiserin.
Oh no.
Kaiserin,
Wait,
what is your final stat call?
I know if I call low pressure cylinders, everybody's gonna get a 4, and I'll get a 5. So I'm not gonna do that.
Please, it would be
I'm-
funny.
I'm
No,
gonna
RMP.
I'm gonna be super funny.
Oh boy.
Look, I got 2 options here for super funny. Either I call driver diameter or I call builder.
Oh no.
Honestly, I'm
Driver diameter is the
curious.
thing I was fearing from you.
All right.
I'm gonna call driver diameter because I value Ellis's sanity.
Thank you.
No.
If you said builder, I was about to say, and at the utterance of one word, this episode gets 30 minutes longer. Going once, going twice. Okay. Driver diameter, which is something I wanted to know. But I know who's getting a 2, and I know who's getting a 1. Brian.
You see, this is what I was scared of Kaiserin, like, looking at it, because those drivers look huge compared to everything else. 31.5 for me, though.
I'll fix that. 31.5. Marine.
30. I mean, not 30. 53.1.
I was terrified for a second that this thing was actually tiny. And that everything we've seen from this locomotive has just been like an illusion caused by the existence of the Dutch.
Yeah, you know what? It's actually minimum gauge. It's only like the tracks are only like a foot apart. That's why it's so weird.
It's
It's running. It's like the Gustav railgun where it's running on 2 sets of minimum gauge track.
That right there is a mannequin of Bilbo Baggins hanging out of the cab. That's not a person. That's not a full-size person. Anyway, all right. Speaking of little things, Mew.
Speaking of minimum gauge, just barely smaller than the gauge it rides on, 29.5.
I thought they were going to be smaller than that. I knew this was giving you a 1. I thought they were going to be little itty baby. Kaiserin.
Okay, now here's the point when y'all can go insane about how big these drivers look on this locomotive. 49.6.
Oh,
That's a normal size. That's a normal
so
size.
the engine is smaller.
We've been double bamboozled. Kaiserin, I swear to God, I thought these were normal size. You had me hyped up thinking I was about to get a 60-inch driver 080, and this thing was going to be rocketing across France. No, it's just a normal locomotive. It's normal. It's not that weird. It's a little bit smaller than the.
No, Ellis, it's just the boiler that rockets across France when it blows up.
I should have put in the voting for this season for 062s or 060. Well, no, 060s. So I could bring the Estrade locomotive, which is an express passenger 060 with 96-inch drivers.
Is that French? Is that French?
Yes, it's French.
Okay, the French
French
did so many absurd things with 060s. That's why they deserve Bourbonus. And that's why they deserve the Bourbonus title. That is what an 060 is called, because France is the undisputed king of 060s, and I can't like counter that with any logic and reason, because you can't reason yourself out of a situation you didn't reason yourself into. The French and their technology and logic and reason are two ends of a spectrum. Have you ever seen their ships, Kaiser? And I know you have. Fort, what about you? Please give me a normal number.
Okay. Well. Yeah. Well, hi, Marine. How are you?
Is it?
Wait, what?
It's 53.1.
Yeah,
it
53.1.
Okay. All right, cool. We've got a tie.
Amazing.
We've got a wait. What? Hold on. Wait. What?
Okay. Well, if you will allow me to add
a
few more
Oh no! Excuse me? It's 53.14961?
Yes.
what the fuck?
Look, the Lithuanians are like that weird mixture of Slavic and German where you have the best machinist but also the weird stuff.
You have the best machinists, but they are drunk on vodka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only those extra decimal points help.
Okay, well that's a 5. That's a 5 for Fort. I asked for a normal number. I got a kind of normal number, and also this is on the back of my rant about Kaiserin, who gave me a normal number. Why? This is the French. I can't with the French.
Why are the tender wheels so big?
For representation, if you look in streaming and recording, that is the Estrade locomotive.
Why are the tender wheels the same size as the drivers?
They're not. The drivers are just huge.
This is fine.
Why are
this
the
is
tender
fine.
wheels
it's
so
fine.
big?
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not looking at it anymore. 5 points. We need to like get done with this. 5 points for Fort. 4 points for Marine. 3 points for Kaiserin. 2 points for Brian, and 1 point for Mew here. I have 2 pings. I think they're both in the Minecraft channel, and I can't help anybody right now. I assume people are dead and or dying, or probably just can't get on the server because of the whitelist. And
It's the whitelist.
I can't do anything about that right now. Just hold tight for like an hour. I say to the ether. I know John's in the thing. Hi, John. Fort, what is your final stat call?
Okay, so I mean,
Get me a 1.
Do you just want to leave? You want to go back to Minecraft?
No. I'm just like, I just feel like the 1 is going to occur because I haven't gone I've gotten 1-1 this round, which has been unprecedented with all the other rounds. I've at least gotten 2 1s or 3 1s in all the other rounds. This is the only round I've only gotten 1 1.
Well, Fort is very similar to
I-
you. Unless he calls number of domes, I think you two are going to have a similar answer.
See, okay. So the thing is, like, I am on a crossroads here. Do I pick? Because like I did good with Power L1, so maybe I could do like Power MT or something like that. Or do I do the wild card and just call Builder?
Do you really want to
Value
add 30
Ellis's
minutes
sanity,
to
please.
this episode?
I don't know how many of these are going to have weird builders, but I assume all of them.
Well, Kaiserin still has a veto.
Well, listen, I am willing to be sacrificed for the sake of adding more things to the document. This has, from its very inception, been a scientific endeavor. I know it doesn't look like it, but, we need to remember our roots. I made Locomotive Versus. We made Locomotive Versus because we wanted to settle arguments and we wanted to learn. If this is what it comes to, then so be it. It's just going to get real boring for about 20 minutes. Fort, what's your decision? You're out of time.
You know what? I'm going. You know what? I'm going with Builder.
All right, you're insane. I hate you. Just kidding. Going once, going twice. Builder. All right, let's see what the hell we're looking at here. This is going to be ridiculous. Hopefully some of these I recognize. Oh, let me get the rules document out, as I didn't have that open. Rules.
Well, Ellis, I'm just gonna tell you, I'm gonna get a 1. Hopefully.
Are you sure about that?
We're
I'm pretty
really
sure.
we're really gonna have to see. I don't think anything is guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, unless one of these was like secretly built by Baldwin, I doubt it.
Brian, what is yours?
I don't know which railway company in Germany this shop belonged to, but I know that it's not a locomotive builder because the reason this has a build date of 1961 is because it was a rebuild. R.A.W. Gorlitz.
What the hell is that?
Bless you.
No.
Gorlitz?
Here,
R.A.W.
wait, before you say
Gorlitz.
anything, there is something amazing about this engine, though, because the original class. This is why there was only 2 built, because there was only 2. These were rebuilds from saturated engines, and the original the original saturated class, there were 21 of those, and they were built by the Karl Marx Locomotive Works.
That's hilarious. Okay, well I'm gonna keep that in mind. But I've found a book about Das Rohr Gorlitz, which is completely in German. I understand none of. But
like a page.
but anyway, Maureen, who built this?
Well, I said it was the Swedes that built it.
Oh,
And
that's
guess
gonna be
what?
impossible to pronounce.
And guess what? Nohab.
Oh, it's Nohab. Okay, all right. At least I've
Oh,
heard of
yeah.
this one. At least I've heard
Yeah,
of
still
this.
they
build locomotives, aren't they?
have. Nohab is essentially the Swedish version of Baldwin,
They built a
but
lot
it
of
didn't
stuff.
just
They
it
built
didn't
box
just
cars.
like go out of existence once diesel came around.
Yeah.
And fun fact, it actually had produced Sturzfang 103s.
Here's another fun fact. Fate sold to Electromotive Division.
Yeah, they built
Yep.
the double-ended like bulldog nose engines that were used in like half of Europe.
They just looked like Baldwin baby faces, honestly. Anyway, Mew, I know yours at least.
Yep, Magyar Alamvasutak, or just Mavag for short.
Mavag, which is a fun one.
Mavag?
Okay, who built this,
That's
Kaiserin?
Mavag?
The PLM Paris shops. I would like to say that I'm bringing the original version because it has more stats. The rebuilt version, there's nothing different except for they added what are called survey tubes, which are really wacky things. Would have been a nice style point, but what they are is they're regular tubes, but they have fins on them to increase heating surface.
Huh.
Oh, okay.
So
that was
this
the only real
okay, okay,
This
gotcha.
is the original version, and that was the rebuild. And the rebuild was done by Paris Shops too, so it wouldn't have mattered.
I can't find a single goddamn inch. Like I can't find anything on the Paris Shops.
Well, it PLM Paris Shops is like saying something built by say Norfolk and Western in the 1880s was built in Roanoke.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the same thing. It was built at their shop.
I'm gonna have questions for you, but I need to get Fort's out of the way. Fort, who built this?
Skoda.
Oh my god, a
Yeah.
normal builder! I was
Well,
hoping Skoda would
there's the
show up.
5.
I had a feeling
Please
Skoda
give
would show
Skoda
up
the
somewhere in
5.
this list. We're gonna find out. I think Skoda's gonna get the 5. There's
Yes.
Skoda in the list. It's halfway down. It's more than halfway down the list. Here's the problem. Nothing else is in the list.
Oh no.
Yep.
Not a
No.
single other thing.
The fun part is, if we were doing this in Triple B, Skoda would still get a 5 because, of course, it's got the car builder bonus.
Okay, where is oh, sorry, no, there's Mavag. Mavag gets the 5, I'm pretty sure.
I think Mavag
Hey.
got merged into like Gans Mavag, who I
hold on, let me Control-Shift-V this in here so that it's the right, thing for Nohab, and then I need to put it in the list in the correct spot, which is above, alphabetically above Seth Wilmarth, and after Horwich.
I think this might help you, Ellis. Mavag made the Turan tank.
More things have fallen off my desk. I don't know what's going on over
I
here.
don't think that helps.
I'm experiencing some kind of earthquake, I think. Can I stop things from falling for 2 seconds? Okay. We need to organize these, and it's going to take me a second. But, so the PLM is a very strange everything. The PLM is weird. I'm inclined to not rate the PLM very highly, and their Paris works, again, there are no hits on them. I think the fact that there is at least a book on Das Rohr Gorlitz probably puts it above the Paris works, but I don't know enough about them.
I fully expect you to give me a 1 for the Paris Shops. See, the reason is that the PLM Paris Shops, to my knowledge, usually didn't build locomotives. They usually built passenger cars.
Okay. All right. Well, that's enough for me then. I'm gonna start figuring this out. Let's see. Why are these not like in alphabetical order or anything like that?
I also remembered something. The PLM Paris Shops was one of the first shops to build 4-cylinder locomotives for the PLM.
Well, that's interesting in and of itself.
But they didn't build very many of them because companies like, La Chapelle and stuff like that took over when it got more industrialized.
Now, the question for me is, because I don't think I can upset I don't think I can put Nohab like super high on the list. In Nohab 1865, company made its first steam locomotive. In 1912, the 1,000th locomotive steamed out of the factory. That is, over the course of about 60 years, that's about 1,000 locomotives. That's what you would call not a lot. So I'm definitely going to have to place them below Skoda, which is a shame because Nohab is kind of cool.
Actually, fun fact, Lithuania was also responsible for Skoda's 1,000th locomotive.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Alright, so anyway, Mava gets the 5, Skoda gets the 4, and then I think Nohab gets the 3. This is less chaotic than I expected. Gorlitz gets the 2, and then PLM gets the 1. Now, PLM is very interesting, but again, if they had like a book about it, like, I should say, the fact that Das Rohr Gorlitz has a book speaks to its significance. Also, according to the one-paragraph synopsis, Das Rohr Gorlitz closed in 1997.
Yeah.
Really?
So it was around for a while. So I'm going to leave that the way that it is. And I'm just going to make sure to mark this all down properly, because I need to make sure that this is settled for, the next time that this comes up, which I'm sure will be soon. PLM Paris Shops is at the end here. Oh wait, Control Shift V because I want to get it in the right format. And then I'm gonna need to mark the thing that says, "Hey, I updated the document here." If you buy trading cards, you get access to this document. You can also access it on our website. Uh, so these all are in the pile somewhere below Skoda. They're sitting around Austrian state railways, New York, Rome, and Inchicore. So, that's the company that they're keeping. Someday we might figure out where they really fit in that company, and I hope that day never comes. So, Fort, that rounds off. I don't know why I called out you specifically. That rounds off the end of round 4. We're at an hour and 30 minutes. I'm going to have to make my decision very quickly. Let me look at the scoreboard. 67 points about 67 points for the lead. That's Fort in the lead. That's why I called out Fort. Of course. I knew. 63 points for second place. That's Brian. 61 points for third place. That's Mew. And then Kaiserin is hanging in there. 58 points. Fourth place. And finally, Marine.
No.
At 55. And
No.
that's 12 points back, and it would not be impossible for Marine to get the pointage to get out in front. Or not in front, but to survive. But what would need to happen is Fort would have to get 2 fewer points than Marine. If Fort
I have an idea.
If Fort gets a 3 and Marine gets a 5, then everyone, just this once, everybody lives. What is your idea, Brian? Because I also have an idea.
Never mind. My idea wouldn't work. I was thinking this was to my own detriment. Unfortunately, I was thinking combined heating surface.
The problem is,
evaporative heating surface.
the problem is Marine,
the one I vetoed,
and Fort have very similar locomotives.
But he would beat Fort.
The thing
But
that
also
sets,
they would both get
but
beaten
not by
Kaiserin.
enough.
yeah, the thing that sets them apart, the things that set them apart are a little bit, are things that the other locomotives really can't squeeze in the middle of, except for one stat that I'm thinking of right now. What were you going to say, Kaiserin?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was me. I was gonna. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, given that I have no idea how anybody on this would really go, but like Robert Limosina's power computation.
No, I think, well, I know who would do a decent job of that, but I don't have enough information to make a firm call there. I'm trying to take everything I know, everything that's been presented to us in the last 90 minutes, and also the things that I understand outside of this stat sheet. And that might be what makes the difference, because Marine needs to get 2 more points than Fort. And there is exactly one case where I can guarantee that with the information that we have available. Number in class. And you're going to say, that doesn't make any sense. And as long as everybody has the stat, I think it will. How many in class, Brian?
It's still 2.
Still 2. Not a huge surprise there. Generally, number in class and number built are the same. So, Marine, how many in class?
35.
35. Mew, don't answer
Oh.
yet. Mew, don't answer yet.
I will not.
Kaiserin,
Cleverly played.
how many in class?
2.
2. Fort, how many in class?
28.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So I'll let you in on a little secret about this.
Oh.
The class the class P8s were originally former Prussian State Railways G 8.1s.
Wait a second.
Yeah,
Kaiser,
and
wasn't that your backup?
No, I had just mentioned that you could have brought it, Brian. But
these
they built like 4,000 of them.
Yeah, and these 4 specific locomotives were built later on in 1932 to just bulk up the numbers a little bit to a slightly modified degree, but the railway still classified them under the same class.
Lithuania has torpedoed my 200 IQ play.
Man.
I would like to make that clear. I would like to make that outrageously clear. Mew, go ahead and put your number down.
Yes, because even though I had 152 built, for the class on the railway these were built for, 10.
10. And if Forts had stayed the same, it would have put him 2 points below Marine.
Man.
But Lithuania,
This might kick me and Brian out. Or
despite
kick me out, wouldn't it?
Wait a second. Why are we 1?
why are you 1? That's not right. You should have 2s. Hold on.
2s all around.
Let me just those are 3. Nope, that's not it. Something was up here with the spreadsheet there. I think.
Yeah, so the original shipment that Lithuania got from France after the First World War was 19 of the G 8.1s, and then they ordered 4 more in 1932.
I thought I was doing a 200 IQ play, and I've destroyed everything. And also the
Let's
spreadsheet.
say 23, not 28.
Also, the spreadsheet isn't working, and what the hell is going on? Because
Oh,
Did I do my math wrong?
no, I think you're
You said there
fine.
were 19, plus they built 4 more, so that should be 23.
I'll have to double. I'll change that for now. But
Oedo's being weird again.
These should be 2. I'm gonna have to investigate that afterward. I don't know why these aren't 2.
oh, okay, yeah, never mind. 3. They got 3 more of the original type in 1925. Okay, never mind. I did do my math correctly.
I'm just gonna mark this
That
as
would
yellow.
still be 26?
No,
That would be
19,
26.
19.
23 plus 3 more is 26?
No,
No, there's
19.
4 more.
Yeah,
okay.
it was the original shipment was 19. Then they got 3 more of the original, so that was
22.
and then they got
4
4
more.
No, that would be 26. How did I do my math wrong there?
It doesn't really.
Either-
Ultimately,
either
it doesn't
way,
make
you
a
still
difference.
get a
But
4.
but that's an interesting thing to catch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust that later. But alas, I put in the 2s just manually, and I might have broken everything. So yeah,
We all live. No, we don't.
no.
No.
I tried. I tried to
And
make sure
it's-
everybody
it's-
lives.
It's a kicker too, because I have a metric fuck ton of style points.
Oh,
I'm
Man.
not in it either.
So you did the opposite thing. Instead of bringing the one person that was out back in, you kicked another person out.
I did. Although,
But that wasn't your fault. That was Fort's.
well,
Let's be honest here. I don't have too many style points. I mean, the only thing I really got for mine is the stack cover, the torpedo tubes, and this locomotive has 2 reversers.
you don't even have a tender.
Well, yeah, it has 2 reversers, one for the high pressure cylinders and one for the low pressure cylinders, so they
Oh,
can
that's cool.
change. They can
What-
change the cutoff independently.
That's
the surveying tubes not count as a style point
No,
too?
that's on the rebuilt version.
Oh, this is on rebuilt. Okay.
this is such a shame. I feel so embarrassed. I tried to save everything, and I did the Spider-Man grabbing the person by the ankle and snapping their neck.
Honestly, Ellis, I'm gonna be honest with you. Unless like tender water or tender fuel capacity ended up being better than Ford's by a high margin, and Ford somehow had really bad tender capacity stats. Everything else, all my other stats, pretty much would have been in the same situation where I get a 5 or a 4, and Ford gets a 4 or 5.
Yeah, and
At least that's what it looks like.
that is what it looks like. I would wonder if the tender capacity, like if Kaiserin could have snuck in between. But
Oh no! This thing has a Victorian era tender. The fuel capacity or the water capacity on mine is like in the thousands.
oh well, maybe
I think
maybe you're right.
if Flu 2 wasn't called, I don't think we would be in this situation.
No, but I
Oh,
I
so
must
my-
I must bid adieu to the Dutch and the French. I appreciate you both for playing. I hope to see you again. Not
the next one is 464. So you know what's showing up to that.
I'm looking forward to it. It currently is scheduled for next week, I believe, but I need to bump them down again because I had something come up. At any rate, we will be back. We'll be back around soon enough, and we need to get on with style points. So, number 1.
I'm gonna drop out.
All right. Good night, Kaiser, and thank you for playing.
See you guys.
Night.
All right, Mew. What's your first style point?
My first style point is Klein Lindner axles.
Yes, you've got those. I don't think anybody else has those. I don't know if anybody else has those. If you've got them, give yourself a point. Fort, what else? Mew, what else you got?
I've also realized that I forgot to research details on those. I have the builder's logo plate on the front of the smokestack, the MAV logo plate.
On the front of the smokestack?
I'm sorry, on the front of the smoke box.
Oh, the front of the smoke box. Yeah, you know what? You can take that as an adornment.
You put it on the trading card. I like that. So.
I know. When I do the trading cards, I do it more specifically.
Okay.
So you can take that as an adornment for the sake of the game. I don't see anything else that qualifies as an adornment for these other locomotives here. What else?
Spark arrestor.
You do have that spark arrestor. You're working in the woods. And what's your fourth?
I want to just quickly pull up a funny picture for those who don't have the trading card in front of them so they can see this. I'll post it in streaming and recording. Multiple fuels. So the first picture I had given shows them loading up bits of wood, and then the picture I just posted shows they also use coal.
Yeah, they use wood and coal simultaneously with these locomotives.
Oh, that multi-fuel. Okay.
Yeah.
That's strange, but also cool. It's like
Yeah.
whatever's in supply, really.
Yeah, I do have a soft spot for these guys, even after all the pain that I went through to get the stat cards in the right shape. What's your fifth, Mew?
I am going to call. Let's see, I have a few here that I think at least one other person will get. But you know what? What the heck? Top-mounted injector check valve.
Oh, top-mounted injector check valve. Yeah, that's this thing right here, right in front of the. No, that's your. Where is it?
In front of the sand dome.
Okay, yeah,
I
that is what this
think.
is. Okay, yeah.
Would I have that?
Top-mounted injector check valve. I cannot tell. You might. This
Let me post.
might be what that
This is the
but
first
I'm
side
not
view of this
certain.
engine that I could find.
But I wouldn't be able to tell off the top of my head. Oh, let's see. Let me get a better look at that on top of the boiler there. It looks like you do have something there behind the dome. I think that might be what that is. Otherwise, that's some kind of linkage.
Would it have a little wheel that you can turn, or look like it at least?
I love a little wheel that
Um,
you can turn.
Hang on, I'll repost this image.
For lack of understanding, I'm going to say that may be what that is. I also am realizing that. Where's Forts? I lost Forts.
Why did Kaiserin have to
I
leave? She could
posted
have
the
helped me
second.
with this.
She.
it looks like Fort might have it on the front dome.
It actually looks like all three of yous have it, and that's what the front dome is for.
Okay.
Which that answers that question. I was a little bit suspicious that was going to be what that was. So yeah, the three of you can take that point for the top mounted check valve, assuming that's what that is. If it's not, then Tyler can yell at me later. Brian, you're up now. What have you got?
Alright, let's see what my competition is. I gotta check some things that I'm looking at. Where's that other picture of the Lithuanian?
So I was able to find, I found a builder's photo that shows the other side, so I have both sides of my engine.
Okay, that's good.
Yay.
Oh, I see it. Yeah, and that's almost certainly what that is then, because you get the pipe on both sides.
Right. So, I'm gonna start off with, I actually have a dynamo for electric train, for, like, train power.
Okay, so you have two dynamos?
Well, I think I only have one, but it's a turbo generator, but it's for train lighting. Like,
Okay.
not for headlights, for coach lighting.
Okay, so you've got a dynamo. You've got a dynamo, which is more than at least one other locomotive can say.
Yay! Get a stop point.
Ford, do you have a dynamo?
I mean, I have 3 lights at the front of my locomotive.
Yeah,
that
but those
look
could be
rather
acetylene.
electric.
Where's your dynamo?
I actually where? Like, I'm not going crazy. There should be. Maybe those are acetylene, huh?
They look like they could be lanterns and not lamps, and I don't see a dynamo on your locomotive.
Okay.
Which is curious, but it wouldn't be out of the question given the age. Like,
I do see something else which hilariously the two of you also share. I won't say what.
yeah, I don't see a dynamo on you for it. So that might just be between the. That might just be for Brian. In which case, that's a good call. I'm just gonna mark it down as dynamo though. Brian, what else have you got?
I read this in the description of a photo, and I've been looking for a place to, like, back this up. Actually, maybe I'll leave that for later and, like, look it up in the meantime. Where was the other stuff? Need another look at the... Wow. There's a lot of things we share in common. That's not good.
You're both European 080s, although I can't say there's too much between you. There's too much other similarities. But you do have a lot of interesting stuff going on. I love these on your photo there with the border, you've got the switch lever that I remember from Rails of War. Your time is just about up, though, so you got to pick something.
Okay, I'm going to say this and try and verify it. Supposedly, apparently, this thing is actually designed as a cab forward.
Okay. What does that entail?
It's designed to run in reverse.
Okay, how so?
Like, I'm not actually sure. It's just I saw there was a description of a photo of this thing, apparently saying that like when it did a photo charter, a little while back, it was, I believe, the first time, uh, in like its history that it had run like smoke box forward.
Okay.
Like
Well,
so up until recent.
I don't know how to classify that unless you can figure out something that is different to this locomotive. And
I mean, arguably, isn't like cab forwardness kind of not count on a tank engine?
Well, there are some instances.
There are things you can do to a locomotive to make it better at running bidirectionally or better at running in a specific direction.
Okay, can I change my point?
You're way out of time.
Okay, fine.
For it. Ball's in your
Okay.
Ball's in your hands.
Okay, so I guess, I got, sorry, I'm actually stumbling over my words here. Bell.
Bell. You've got a bell. Brian's got a bell.
There it is.
Someone else does not have a bell.
Yeah.
What else have you got for it?
I have ditch lights.
You do have ditch lights.
As
You have something down there, Brian. Are those lights?
yes, they are.
Okay. Yeah, I can see them piped through your electrical box there. You've got little bitty lights, I guess. That's what those are. Although in other instances you do have lamps that are. Oh no, what are those down there? You have.
I'd
have the
imagine
mounting
that they were
points.
just removed for transport for the flat car pick.
Yeah, you've got those mounting points for lamps for the flat car pick. You've got the lamps there. You've got the ditch lights. You can take that. I'm not sure if the forestry engine ever put lights on it itself at all. For what else have you got?
I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I'm going to say I have the most air out of anybody here.
The most air out of anyone here. You've got those two big tanks. The forestry engine I don't think has air at all.
I don't. Yeah,
Of
no, I
one
doubt it.
tank.
And yeah, you've got the one tank, so I think that's fair. And Brian gets a half a point.
And what was another one? Okay, this one I'm genuinely asking because I can't remember, but actually, before I do that, I have buffers.
You've got buffers. That's fair.
Do I get a half point for having like the single?
Yeah, you've got that thing going on.
Can I get a quarter point for it sort of being link and pin with a buffer right there?
You don't get anything for being Lincoln Pin. You get fingers caught is what you get. I listen, Mew. You're a good friend. This locomotive's cute.
But that's it.
I am at no point going to pretend it's not a death trap.
True.
Uh,
Now that I think about it, I think I've asked that question before too.
it comes up. I was staring at it earlier, going, "Oh my god, the couplers thing is going to happen," and I was right. Ford.
I'm also gonna go with flags.
Flags. You get the flag stands, and it looks like. No, I don't see flag stands on this thing. I thought you had flag stands too, Brian. I don't see them.
Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't. I don't know. Oh wait, I see the flag stanchions. They are on the very ends of the running boards in pretty much every picture. Yeah.
Oh, these are
They're
for
like
flags.
little
The
flag
thing sticking up
poles.
at the end of. That looks like a handhold.
But
I don't know if those are for
oh wait,
flags.
never mind. Actually, wait, hang on. Okay, it's weird because the picture on the flat car, it looks like the ones in the front are supposed to like carry flags, but then you look at the picture where it's got the border on it, and it looks like they're just like grab handle poles for like when you're going up on the side ladder that's outside the cylinder. So actually, never mind. I won't.
Yeah, I don't think those are flag handles. You've got these poles sticking up everywhere for grabbies for climbing all over this locomotive, which is really
Their
interesting.
antennas, the engine is actually remote controlled.
Yeah, they're antennas. Okay. Well, that's 5 for you. We wrap back around to Mew. Mew, what is Do you have more?
I do have more.
Okay.
Let me see here. Copper firebox.
You do have that copper firebox. That's an interesting one. I remember learning about that. If anybody else has it, what?
That just makes me scared.
It is a little bit softer, but the heat transfer is very good.
Oh no, I guarantee I know that, but it's like that has to be like really thick.
It's also probably very expensive.
Yeah.
Look how many pennies they swish down to turn into a firebox. Okay.
Somebody steals the firebox.
Yeah. Oh God, the crackheads got into the roundhouse and they stole the catalytic converters and the fireboxes. Or the Catholic converters. All right.
Brass.
Oh, you've got. Are you taking the what brass?
Do you see on the funnel that little brass
that's
band?
your brass.
As far as I can tell.
You know.
I mean, I
It's
don't have
shiny.
I don't have any colored photos, but by that logic, do I get brass too? Because I have a nice little funnel cap.
Is that brass or is that just a? Well, the stack flare is something else.
I have no idea. Probably
Well,
not
see,
actually.
I can't give you points off of I have no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, sure. Well, hold on. No, I already gave you an adornment.
I thought brass was considered separate. Darn.
A lot of the time, brass fittings and things. I guess you could take it as brass bands because Kaiseren's locomotive has that. And well, she's not here to collect the point on it, and such is life. It is what it is. It's
you can still collect points after
you can collect points after being folded. You just can't call them. If you want to, I wasn't even sure if you were still here and paying attention, Marine. If you've got,
I mean, I wasn't. I was like half paying attention, and I remember you saying something last time saying about people not collecting points after being folded.
So what I had to figure out last time is that I can't give more points to somebody that is folded than somebody that is not folded. Like I can't give the calling contestant a half a point because one of the folded contestants would get a full point. Comparatively, they would just both have to get a full point. That's what I was clarifying last time. If there is stuff that has been called that you want to assign yourself the points for, be my guest. You know, it's totally fair. You deserve those points. So, yeah, take brass band, I guess. Not the musical kind. But yeah, brass band is probably unique enough.
That's fair.
What
next up? Yeah.
What's next?
I'd say I have better rearward visibility than definitely forward, and I think I edge out Brian in that too because he has a bunker right there while I don't, looking out the window.
I mean, so to go back to the photo of the inside here with the coal spilling down, I probably, if anything, Brian would at least get a half a point.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's kind of a wash because while you do have that bunker in the way, or Brian has the bunker in the way, you have actual like fuel stacked up in front of that window. So you're not going to be able to
someone can just lean over to look through, no?
Maybe. But my point is you're not going to be able to get the same you're not going to be able to see down to the murder coupler quite so easily without reshuffling all the fuel or climbing over a pile of coal. So I think you both get a point here, and then Fort does not. Kaiser and I have no idea how I would rank because we have no idea what that tender looks like. So that would have to be an omission.
I I do just want to add in. I do have a picture of my locomotive on at the like showing the rear view of it, and I I would say I would give half a point at least.
No,
Like
well,
so,
no,
so
because
many ghetto bars that you can barely see
yeah, well,
back
the
there.
the fact that you have the ghetto bars is hilarious
And-
and just goes right back to the stealing of the copper firebox. Uh, but look also, there's another ladder. You have
Yes.
so many ladders.
And that one
Also,
makes
holy
I,
me
shit!
I
feel a
can't
bit.
Does your tender have roller bearings?
I can't give you.
Uh,
I,
yes.
get
The
half a
whole
point for having a
locomotive has
single
roller
ladder?
bearings.
we're not. I'm not giving up points for ladders right now. You don't
Yeah,
have.
he's not.
You and Fort have about the same, and no one has it worse than you. So I can't give you a half a
I
point for
see.
that as much as I would like to. If there
Okay,
were
that makes sense.
if there
That
were
makes
a
sense.
locomotive here with like a normal sized tender, then we'd be easy money.
Yeah.
Mew, what is your fourth one here?
Yeah, my last two I know that Brian's gonna get as well. Actually, no, wait a minute. Let me quickly look here. Yeah, I'll try this. Outside frame.
Uh, yeah, I've given that before.
It's on the card.
It is on the card. Okay, what
and
else?
Then it's also on the card. Don't know how good or bad it is, but plate frames.
Yeah, that's worse.
Okay, never mind
but,
then.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm Mew. You said that with such conviction. That was not a question, was it?
I was interpreting it's on the card. It's valid as a style point.
You were
Why would bad stuff be on there?
You were calling that.
I was.
Yeah. So, well, what I have to write down is frames, and I have to grant a point to everyone that does not have plate
Everyone.
frames. Sometimes things are written on the cards. If you don't have plate frames, which I can't tell if the German thing does. No, it doesn't look like you've got plate frames because you've got holes in that thing. I don't.
Do you remember the reasoning for why plate frames were considered worse?
Well, plate frames are multiple pieces that you put together into a frame. A cast frame
as
is
opposed
one
to
big,
cast,
one
okay.
solid piece of metal. So if you guys have cast frames, which add
I have no idea.
okay, I might have to
plate frames not be considered easier to repair? Cough, cough, 3254, cough, cough.
I mean, maybe, but that is, even if it were, that is a very small advantage versus a very large disadvantage, which comes with the strength of the material.
Yeah.
I cannot tell if this German thing has plate frames or not. I know
Darn,
that you do, and I can see the bolts holding the pieces together. I can't tell if
Yeah.
Fort's thing has plate frames because the resolution is not high enough. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and give Brian and Fort each a half a point for probably not having plate frames. And this is a discussion that I had with myself about using my discretion to deliver half a point in times where it should be given.
Yeah.
Would having a close up of the valve gear help determining what type of frames this thing has?
You probably don't have a plate frame either. Doesn't look like you would. It's not.
I mean,
It's
I'm
not
just
quite
gonna-
old or rickety enough. That doesn't exactly help me. Although I do see stuff bolted together. Well, no, that's the valve gear being bolted onto the frame.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do the same thing and err on the side of you probably don't give yourself a half a point. So everyone except for Mew and I would imagine Kaiser and I can see things being held together in there, but that might just be for the firebox. But there's no way this thing has a thing. But we're past that point. Brian, Now's your time to shine. You missed it earlier. Have you come up with some that we won't have to hem and haw about? I'd love to hear them.
Surviving.
Oh, son of a gun. Really? This survives?
Yes, like you're looking at the picture.
Oh right. It does have colored photos. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I've been staring at the black and white picture for so long. It looks like it's being sent off to the gulag.
This
so,
survives?
Yeah.
You say standing next to it.
Well, I say it's, you never know. But yeah, that thing survives. And Fort, does yours survive?
No, none of these survived. Though, I mean, admittedly, one of them was... Where was it? One of them was on the inventory of the Novograd Oblast, plants, their inventory at a construction plant in 1959. But after that, there's, nobody knows what happens to these. They were most likely scrapped somewhere in Russia.
Damn. I mean, that's a shame. But, I mean, it's spending its last days at a construction plant? Come on now, it's a mainline locomotive. What are they doing with it? I see you also wrote operates, Brian.
Yes.
And
here's something that I can get a one-up on over Mew, because there were only 2 of me built. Both of them survive. 100% survival rate.
I'm not giving you 100% of anything. It is what it is. But you do get
so
operates.
I can't get that?
You get that double dip. No, locomotive is locomotive. I'm not.
Okay. Then
not
I
doing
have a
class
different
points.
one, and this one's a bit interesting. Because I'm not sure if this is its own point or not, but I was retired in 1995.
Okay, I think you definitely have the latest retirement. The forestry locomotives, these Hungarian and Romanian engines, they lasted a real damn long time. But I don't know if they were still running in '95, especially this one. Which let me just CFI 264 243. Steam, not oil pan. Steam locomotive. That's not White Pass and Yukon. This is not helping. The figuring stuff out about this locomotive was a complete mess. Type 70. No. Yeah, finding stuff out about this locomotive was a disaster. Mew, do you have any information on when this was retired from forestry service?
Not here. Yeah, I'm not finding much info about that either.
I know it operated late, but I'm going to err on the side of caution, give you a half a point. Brian will get the full point, and we will go from there. Brian?
Because the original class was built in that these were rebuilt from was built in 1950, so this actually makes sense. My axles have roller bearings.
Oh.
And I believe because it doesn't appear that anything other than, I believe, Marine's tender trucks has roller bearings. So.
Yeah, and I think you get that point. Marine would get a half a point if he wants to accept it. And yeah, I don't see roller bearings on anything else.
Yeah, I don't think so.
How do you how do you know if the drivers have roller bearings?
You'd have to have it written down somewhere.
Okay.
If you can find that out, you can take a full point, and if not, then half a point it will be.
Yeah.
Okay, so your fifth and final. It looks like we're still trucking. Brian?
Do you want to take that half point for it?
I don't know if I have any roller bearings. I doubt it.
On the tender?
No, those are not
the journal boxes.
Yeah, those aren't roller bearings.
No, wait, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I was looking at Marine's picture.
I put half a point in.
My bad.
Oh yeah, one thing that I did want to try for I've got those like little step wells cut out into my water tank.
I was staring at those. That's really something. Those are really neat. And I can't help because now it's come around. Brian, do you understand what you've invoked?
Are you counting that as a ladder?
Yes.
Safety.
Oh God.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about safety. I'm
Oh.
just talking about ladders. And
I mean, I've got 4 along my running plate plus those, and they're on each side.
you have those.
Oh, sorry, I've got 3 on my running plate plus those, so I have 5 in total.
And Fort has Fort.
4.
Yeah, I Fort. You don't have a ladder to get up the side of the. Yeah, Fort. You've got a ladder
No,
there. You've got ladders into the cab, but I'm not counting ladders into the cab.
I suspect I should have one at the back to get up to fill water.
Yeah, to get under the tender, that would make sense. I
You
think
have the steps on the side of the tender tank.
what other.
So, like, you use a cab ladder first, and then you go to the side to those tender tank steps, and then finally you use the ladder that's on the tender proper.
This is weird. I think
I've got that single dinky step on the right side tank's front.
because I'm tired of this,
I
I
have
think
that
I'm going
too.
to say extra ladders, and I'm going to give a point to Fort and a point to Brian, and also a point to Marine if he wants to take it. And I don't think you have any extra ladders, you.
I have a step on the front of the water
You
tank.
have one single foothold, which to reach it
do
you
I.
have to climb onto or over the cylinder, which
Mm.
that's less than ideal. But
Structure cylinder.
thankfully these engines are Hobbit sized. So, let's see. That's Brian. So we wrap back around to number 3. Fort, you're gonna end it for everybody.
Okay. Well, this one. Okay, so this one I'm genuinely asking. Is it a style point to for those little like windshield flap things over the front windows?
Yes, you have visors on your front windows.
Visors. Okay.
Yes, and I don't think anybody else has those. Well, Kaiser didn't have any windows. Brian doesn't. I don't think you do, Mew, unless... Let me look at the other photo here.
Nah, the cab roof just has
No.
like a tiny visor, but that's not the window.
Yeah, you've got a little extension for the cab.
Yeah, both of us have that.
And
That's not
but
it.
that's not... Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, but
Okay.
you've got visors over those front windows. That's a good call for it. What's next?
Also, you see on the cylinder the circle. That's Skoda's like builder plate.
Oh, shoot. I missed
Oh,
that.
hell yeah.
I missed that when we were going through here. That's an adornment point. Go put that up. Go put that up where it belongs.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Is that not for a snifter valve and the
Oh,
builder
shit.
plate is further up
That
on
folded
the
view.
exhaust? F.
Is that a?
Wait, did it actually?
Yeah,
Yes.
unfolded.
Is that not a? No, I think the snifter is at the front of the.
No, yeah, I think that's where the snifter is. Yeah, but that's an actual builder's plate on the Pacific. It had one that it had an identical one, but it was on the elephant ears on the smoke deflectors.
Oh, okay. Well, you're not going to find a snifter up there.
No,
I can't believe that killed Mew.
Yeah. Now okay.
Mew, that was your point. The
Man.
adornment. And
Hey,
even
I
if
thought-
I had narrowed it and said embossed builder's logo, it still would have been the point for Fort, and I still missed it the first time through, probably because I thought it was a snifter. Anyway,
Man.
okay, Fort, what's I said you were going to kill everybody. What's next?
Yeah. I'm going to. I can't actually. Looking at my pictures, I'm having trouble. But is it just me, or are there balancing rods on the front of the cylinders?
Yeah, you've got
Yes, there
balancing
are.
rods. You've got balancing rods. So does
The
do.
second picture you posted does.
yeah. You've got
I'm the
balancing
only one
rods. So does
without.
Brian. So does Marine, including the middle one.
Does that mean Marine gets a full point and the rest of us get? Oh.
No, the folded person can't get more points than.
I love how Marines just. It's a little nub that sticks out of the buffer beam.
Well, I wasn't even looking at that. I was looking at the one next to the ditch light. You can see the balancing rod for the valve, and I just recently noticed that little one.
I was
but
wondering
I
what
think
that was.
Also, smoke box.
You don't
Hold
need
on.
to call another
Yeah.
point. I just got folded.
Oh, you.
It's-
Oh, okay.
you can if you'd like, but the game is over. That
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean to be as predictive as I was, but alas, with only 9.5 style points, less than your two competitors that made it into style points, you take the cake here with your little 080. Your smokebox start is a valid point. I, in your position, would have called white walls.
Yeah, right.
And you also have the best sand distribution of anybody here.
I mean, I have forward and
That's a style
backward
point?
sand, but you have more of it.
Yeah, everyone here has forward and backward sand, which I think speaks to the bidirectionality of mud diggers. These are fascinating locomotives. The fact that we had multiple that were designed for mainline service today, and that sort of speaks to the European mentality on locomotives, for better or worse. It's really, really fascinating. And that it came down to this, that we had so many style points, so many good style points. Thank all of you for showing up with these oddballs and seeing how they perform. Fort, congratulations. I will see you in the Royale at the end of the season with number 325 here.
You gotta show the point totals.
And yeah, let's show these point totals. Thank you, Brian. Fort wins by a margin. 80.5 points. 77.5 points is second place. That's you, Brian. Congratulations on second place. And
The
Mew,
king of second place is back.
and Mew being the only other person who made it into style points and was able to rack up these points, 75.5 points. Still a relatively close race. The three of you are good for having persevered. Marine,
Wait a second. Hold on.
what's up?
If Marine hadn't been here to collect style points, then if they were tied for last,
I don't deal with other ties.
who would have gone to the losers bracket?
That is something I would have had to figure out later. That's a good question, though. I had not considered
Who would
that.
face me with the C6 with the C59?
That's a good question. I would have to figure that out sometime down the line. I would probably. I have no idea. We'll burn that bridge when we come to it. 66 points, Marine. You hung in there. You got absolutely thumped in statistics, and it's a real shame this thing didn't get to shine in the style points like you wanted it to. But I appreciate you sticking it out and coming around here with your tank car and all your ladders. Kaiserin was not able to see the end, to see this through, but this dangerous locomotive will see the light of day again in the losers bracket. And I have to fix this spreadsheet. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in a couple of weeks for the next episode, which is 464s. Is it just Baltics, or is it all 464s?
I think it's all 464s,
It's all
isn't it?
four-
I said
464s.
464s.
Okay, all 464s, all Hudson types, Baltic types, any and all
Real
comers.
Real quick before we go, because the stat wasn't read, I want to mention something. I said how I had 9 tubes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
My flues, 64, 2.756. That's not much larger than a tube.
How big were your tubes?
That's not much,
1.772.
that's not much bigger than a womp rat.
Oh,
Okay.
would I have won that one? 128 tubes at 1.575 inches.
I think so.
Sheesh. Alrighty.
All right, I'm gonna have to fix the spreadsheet before I can copy the values over.
Oh, you know, another style point I could have gotten it was that these were the most powerful locomotives in Lithuania.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah.
That is a good style point. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Goodbye.
Bye,
Bye,
trading
trading cards.
cards.